Hi, Jerry here again for all my IB Myositis channel viewers. If you are new to this channel, make sure to press the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of upcoming episodes of this channel. If you appreciate this channel dedicated to IBMers and their caregivers, press that thumbs up button on your screen. Have you ever laid in bed wondering random thoughts about your IBM? I've been doing that for about 15 years now, wondering exactly when, how, and what triggered my IBM to begin as it did, and lately I've been thinking about some of its oddities. This may become a play on words as much as it reflects the reality of what our IBM life really is or will soon become. How random are my thoughts when I think about an IBMer who can't do stairs but must negotiate extra steps in almost everything we do? Or how about when just do it becomes can't do it, if I try I'll make another mess for my caregiver to clean up? Or how about the day we realize that any exercise we do affects the muscles not affected by IBM, which become fewer and fewer every day? Or how about when we think about when we used to spoon with our spouse, and now our spouse can only help us count our daily spoons? Or how about when we were a youngster and had a hard time getting out of bed? Now it seems like we didn't know what we were talking about back then compared to now with our IBM. Or how about the number of times we say in our minds, "Get up," but our bodies can only stay down? Remember when we could shovel food into our mouth with both hands, lift that glass of wine, or even scratch our head? Now us Stage 3 IBMers barely can do any of them with either hand, if at all. These are only some of the things that happen in later stages of IBM. When we were young, our small TVs didn't have a remote control. Now we have huge flat TV screens, but can't manage to handle the remote controls. And why can pharmaceutical companies find a vaccine for COVID in 6 months with a success rate of over 90%, but can't invent a vaccine for IBM with even a 10% success rate in the last 30 years? Or how about when our minds gravitate to how our limbs must move in a non-gravitational direction because our muscles can no longer lift our limbs against gravity? Or how about reading your hometown news online rather than in print form because we lose our ability to handle a newspaper? Remember when a good time was going out with friends on a Friday night after work? When in Stage 3 of IBM, just getting to the toilet on time is a happy event. When we're in Stage 1 of IBM, we can stand firmly on our 2 feet. When we're in Stage 2, sometimes standing is like balancing a new number 2 pencil on its eraser. When we reach single digits within Stage 3, we might be compared to trying to balance a Q-tip on end. I can remember certain events during my kindergarten year when I was only 5 years old, but can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday. We may have just been born in the wrong era. Just imagine if we would have had the camera cell phones back in the day like we have today. All those great times could have been collected digitally and not suppressed by our failing analog memories. Speaking of analog memory, scientists are studying our analog memory storage system, one that can record the duration and/or intensity of events in human cells. This could also help scientists study how cells differentiate into various tissues during embryonic development, how cells experience environmental conditions, and how they undergo genetic changes that lead to chronic diseases. There's a few random thoughts that I've had that might be better suited for a fiction novel. I read about the technology that might turn a vision in our brain into a color photograph. Probably not in my lifetime, but maybe in some of yours. Now that's enough of that. Let's get back to IBM reality. I fell the other night transferring from my bed to my power chair on the way to the bathroom. I skinned my face up a little as it contacted the bottom side of my power chair footrests that were in the folded up position. I'm glad I glued carpet to the bottom of those foot pads, or my injuries might have been more serious than just rug burns on my face. My occasional falls are just a reminder of the need for constant vigilance when attempting any type of mobility when you have IBM. During the development of this episode, I had the unfortunate occurrence of falling a second time this week. This time it happened during a transfer from my lift chair recliner to my power chair in the living room. I just started to tip over and landed on my right side injuring some ribs and banging my head pretty hard on the floor. I usually use my sit-to-stand lift only during those uncertain times when I felt fatigued and weak. Perhaps the 100% utilization of my sit-to-stand lift will become a reality sooner than I had hoped. I did add one component to my bathroom lighting that has decreased the level of difficulty and speeds up my trips to the toilet. In addition of a motion sensor light switch eliminates the needs for my struggles to get to the bathroom light turned on and off. Now the bathroom light automatically comes on whenever I enter the room on my power chair and stays on approximately 3 minutes after I vacate the area. The motion sensor that I purchased also has the capability of setting the switch's program to allow the light to stay on longer or shorter after I leave the room, as well as can set the brightness level of the room. Here's another helpful hint. IBMers in the advanced stages may get the feeling of cold feet, hands, and fingers, and that might present a problem if you have blood drawn from your hand, finger, or wrist area. Because I have weekly blood drawn to sample for my platelet problem, in the fall, winter, and spring, the lab technician must always spend time applying a hot compress to my hand before a blood draw. I remedied that problem by placing a $15 rechargeable hand warmer in the palm of my hand and inserting my hand in the oven mitt before the lab test. Since doing this, the lab technicians have not had to apply any type of heat compress and saves the lab technician's time as well as some of my discomfort. So, what am I planning for my immediate future? As my transfers to and from my power chair to either the toilet, bed, or lift chair recliner are becoming more difficult, I'd better think about the next steps to get it safely done. I've got a sit-to-stand lift to transfer to and from the toilet and to and from the lift chair recliner, but need to study how to utilize a sit-to-stand lift to get me out of bed when I can no longer get to a seated position on the side of my hospital-type bed. Although I could use the overhead hoist that straddles my bed, I'd like to shorten the number of steps and be able to do it with only my sit-to-stand lift. Additionally, my transfers into the shower will no longer be able to rely on me getting to a standing position, so I've ordered a mesh shower sling to transfer me from my power chair to my shower chair. I also hope to use the same sling to get me from my bed to my power chair in the near future. In one of my next episodes, I plan on demonstrating the use of this sling. Stay tuned. I've now shared with you only a few of my random thoughts that ramble through my head while I dream about the past and plan for what's ahead of me in my future. I'd like to leave you with 2 thoughts. First, for those who are behind me in this dreadful IBM journey, I can't stress the importance of planning ahead for your future. And secondly, for those of you ahead of me in this IBM journey, I hear you. I probably haven't seen anything yet. Please subscribe to this non-monetized IBM channel if you have not already done so, as this channel is the one dedicated to IBMers in all stages and you don't want to miss any episodes. Until next time, may you stay off the floor, may you swallow all your food without any problem, and may you get the sleep you need to be able to tackle your next day.